Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, this evening, we're also going to have a conversation with Halima Ismail joining us on Zoom. She is the owner of Oriental Decadence. From finding a niche for healthy meals to creating a bustling home based catering business, Halima's journey has been fueled by passion, perseverance, and a whole lot of love. Inspired by her dreams of opening a restaurant one day, inshallah, Halima's culinary experience or creations have already graced many an event, adding a touch of Eastern elegance to weddings and functions. Assalamu alaikum, Halima. Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Walaikum salam. Jazakallah for having me.
Jazakallah so much. It's definitely an honor to have you tonight. Now, can you please tell us about the idea or what sparked the idea of launching Oriental Decadence?
It was one of those post-COVID things. So I've always loved cooking. I've always cooked for people. It's always been my love language. And recently, after COVID, I decided to I decided to actually do a small pop-up outside my home from my garage. It was something very micro, very small, just to give, let people that have had small businesses just get back into the groove of things. And I was selling actually some perfume, and along with the perfume, I made a few of these chart boxes. And with the chart boxes, I had some popcorn, and a whole lot of people that came bought me out. I was quite impressed by it, and I was taken back at the feedback, and everyone enjoyed it. So at the end of that day, I was like, hey, this is something that might work. Let me introduce something. It was COVID. We were not sharing. We were not touching the same things. Let me do something that, is a deconstructed version. Everybody has their, you're not all digging into the same thing. It's sort of deconstructed, DIY, do your own thing. Yeah, and then it started from there, and I went home, and then we went to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, what name can we go with? And I thought of, my husband would always make a joke. Whenever we travel to Durban, we'd see these boards of Halima's pickles. So because my name is like an oldish auntie's name, or like, it's got a link to that. So he was like, okay, Halima's pickles. And I said, oh man, it was just like a little bit of a joke. But then Oriental Decadence was born.
Hmm. That is so inspiring. And now, building a brand is very essential in any industry, especially in the food industry, because the competition is very high. So how did you manage to brand yourself and market yourself? And what strategies have been the most successful in attracting but also retaining your customers?
So, you know what? Being true to yourself. For me, keeping my brand running and, retaining my customers is being true to myself and being true to my quality. So I make sure everything I make is something that my family, myself, we would eat at home. I make everything from scratch. 98% of whatever I make is my own. So that has definitely contributed to what has made this business successful, and has helped me to keep my clientele, to grow with my clientele. Like, I can constantly, I don't use bottled sauces for example, in my chart. Everything is homemade. So there's a lot of love and passion that goes into every bite. That's why my slogan also goes as mouthfuls of explosive flavor, because I enjoy what I do. And someone actually told me at a pop-up recently, you can taste all the love when you eat your food. So that had me already singing, like it sort of made my day. So that, alhamdulillah, is what has helped me to keep Oriental Decadence going.
Mm. Now, in terms of catering itself, it's a very demanding, high pressure business. How do you always make sure that you stay on top of the game, while also managing the operational demands of running the business itself?
Sure. This one, there's a lot of tears that go with running a business. There's a lot of emotional breakdowns. There's a lot that comes out even on your family, on your kids. It's a very, very demanding business, especially as a woman. So for me, it's a lot of prep. I pre-prep, I make lists, I follow through. So there's lists upon lists upon lists of what ingredients need to be bought, what do I have, what needs to be made. Sometimes I even, like, if I have an event and I'm making, for example, a bruschetta, I have to, I'll make a note of all the things that go into it, what are the, each ingredient that goes into it, every element, every product, so that we don't forget. And by the end, I just tick off and see what we're missing, what we have. And yeah, it's just, a lot of planning.
Hmm. And when it comes to running a business, especially the food industry, people evolve all the time because this is what's going on, this is what's trending. People are liking this more. How did you, manage to always stay on top of, the game when it comes to the kind of food that you offer, but also have you also incorporated any changes in your, business model, menu offerings ever since you have launched the catering business?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you forever learning. I mean, your education is going to be from the cradle to the grave. So for me, I started off with just an Indian street food vibe. And then when I started doing it, obviously that was at big pop-ups like macro events. So something like your halal goods market, my first halal goods market, you want to stick to a niche because there's many vendors in different, with different types of foods. So I stuck to Indian street food and it would do really well. But then when I started now, obviously halal goods market happens once in a while or pop-ups happen once in a while. When I started doing it from home, I had to find where's a gap in the market. So for me, at that point in time, I found a gap with healthy food. So there was very few or to no healthy food, options available in the community that we were living in. So I started making that, and then it did okay for a bit, and then I joined a program called Wellness by Zahira. So that really boosted my business because then I prepped her meals for her customers and her clients. So, and I'd ship it off all the way to Johannesburg from Vereeniging. So that really, really did boost, my flexibility in my business. And then after that, when I would do pop-ups, I had to see now where am I going, because if I did a big event, then I would stick to just an Indian street food style and maybe just incorporate something trending, something new, something fresh. If it was outside a garage, for example, I realized that something like a chart, wouldn't bring me the same income as if I had to sell something more of a meal, like a burger or wurst roll. So we started doing gourmet wurst rolls or gourmet burgers. So whatever I introduced, I took something that was existing and put my own spin on it. So not everything I can say is, okay, I've, created this all by myself. I took trending things and created my own spin and did it, adapted it to my flavors and what I wanted.
Hmm.
So yes, I think it's very important to go with what your clients want and constantly go back to the drawing board and introduce different things. I also offer cooking classes for kids, so kids and teens. So whatever is trending, I know kids love to do trending things. When the viral Dubai chocolate was trending, we would do some classes on that, and so I incorporate things that would bring interest amongst the youth and get them into the kitchen without their mums, something where they just have fun and are creative.
Mm. I mean, that is so beautiful to hear. Now, in terms of, people that are watching right now that might be inspired to start a food related business, or people that are already running the business itself, what advice would you have for them in terms of how to maneuver the business, especially in such a competitive space?
If you want to start a business, I think it's always important to stick with what you know. Start with something small. For example, when I started Oriental Decadence, it was maybe 3 items on our menu. It was the chaat, the pani puri, and at the first time we did Haji Ali bruschettas. I remember that was our first HGM, and then I had Haji Ali as well after that. But you have to stick to a very small menu, limit the menu if you're starting off, obviously, and stick or introduce things that you are good at already. Something that's been tried, tested, maybe a family a recipe passed down from family to family, something that you are already confident in. The thing is confidence, because if you are confident in your food, your clientele will feel that confidence and they will feel that love. You can automatically put all your passion and love into it, and it's not difficult to alter recipes or make it even better if you are already confident. So I think that is one of the main things, is to stick to what you know. Always, and then always go back to the drawing board. What can we introduce? Look at your clients, get feedback, ask what did you like, what didn't you like, and it's not difficult. Initially when someone gives you criticism, your heart's sore, but in this industry, it's a very fast-paced, tough industry. You have to have tough skin, and you have to be able to take the criticism and go back and become better. So if someone, I'll give an example. At one of my events, I made jalebi, and it's the spirally sweet Indian sweetmeat, and I think I had a customer. It was really tasty. I know we had a lot of people enjoyed it, but someone told me, "Oh no, it was all very broken," and she wasn't happy with the appearance of it. And it was on plus on an Instagram comment, and I thought, must I delete this comment so nobody sees it? But then I left it, and I was like, okay, let's take a break from making this. And then I went back and I tried it over and over and see what can I do that will keep the shape, it will allow me to transport it without any breakages. So you have to constantly go back and keep trying to better yourself in any industry, but especially in this because it's such a demanding and there's so much of competition. Also, you have to have tawakkul. For me, that is very important. Tawakkul in Allah is everything. My reliance in Allah before any event. Whatever I do comes from my strength in Allah, and I feel when we put our hopes and our dreams and our strength and our reliance in Allah, anything is possible, and we will find the fruits along the way.
Inshallah. Now, before I let you go, please tell us about how you see your experience with your current business, Oriental Decadence, fitting into your long term vision of opening a restaurant one day, inshallah.
Thumma Ameen. I would love, love, love to open up a restaurant. It was always a dream for me. I always wished either a restaurant or a bakery and a deli, something, more solid, something that you can come a flagship. I think Oriental Decadence has given me not only the exposure, but has helped me to grow. I've grown a lot. I've grown as a person. I'm able to think on my feet. I'm able to be creative, innovative. I can also block out the noise. In this industry, there's always going to be critics. There's always going to be people copying you. But if you let those things bother you, you'll never succeed. So for me, I try my best to block everything out and do the best that I can. So Oriental Decadence has definitely made me grow as a person, as an entrepreneur. Alhamdulillah, there's times when I feel like things are going down. I go back and I say, oh Allah, please just guide me. And, I will get that guidance. And I think it's made me a stronger person in my faith, and it's made me stronger in my understanding of business and my ability to bounce back. So I think hopefully the skills that I've developed through being a business owner, a food business owner, and doing pop-ups, the hard work that it entails, the giving up of family, and you sometimes miss out on your children's soccer events or sporting, or like something. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of give and take in this industry, and I think the sacrifices that I've made has made me stronger and helped me to develop a very strong a community and family backing as well. So hopefully that will drive me through and carry me through to become better, inshallah. And to have
Inshallah.
a business and a restaurant. And inshallah, if I have a restaurant, maybe all your viewers and we'll have a opening night with INX.
Inshallah, that inshallah we make dua that Allah accepts your dua and may Allah make your dream come true, inshallah.
Ameen, ameen, ameen.
Jazakallah so much for joining us, Halima. And this has been such a wonderful interview that I just had with you. And thank you so much for just sharing insights on, business, but also your journey as someone that's into, catering, but also who is running a, food business. So Jazakallah so much.
You're welcome. Jazakallah for having me, and I hope to see you guys at one of my events soon.
Inshallah. Viewers at home,
Mm.
that was my amazing interview with Halima Ismail, who is the owner of Oriental Decadence, and she was just sharing insights on her journey, her passion for her business, but she also gave us some advice for people that are aspiring, entrepreneurs within the field. But without wasting any time, let's go to a quick break. We'll see you right after this.